Hello, good people. This is a follow-up to my free will video. If you haven't seen that yet, check it out. Basically, we pose the question, do human beings have free will, or are they just subject to their environment and external programming? Well, me personally, I believe we do have free will, which is why I'm making this follow-up video. Maybe the first video was open-ended. This video is a how-to, a nitty-gritty on how to express your free will in the way that will benefit you the most. Because what are we doing here if it's not to benefit ourselves and our families and our communities the most? When you benefit your community, you benefit your family. When you benefit your family, you benefit yourself. And vice versa. It goes like this, back and forth. You see? That's the dance. Anyway, let's get started. Now, if you remember from that video, we left it at that behaviorism, behavioral technology, as Skinner put it. Skinner, do you remember this guy? Do you remember this guy, B.F. Skinner? Anyway, it's not important. Basically, the behaviorism technology is ethically neutral. So all of this stuff that we use in our day-to-day, it's ethically neutral. Now, if some people want to use it for nefarious gains, well, what can we do? It's a free country. However, we can also use it for positive, or we can use it for neutral things. Or we don't have to have any sort of perspective at all, actually. That's what neutral means. Regardless, we live in a time where just about everybody in the United States of America, or in the Western world, or in the developed nations, just about everybody, asterisks, just about everybody has access to a very high quality of life. Yes, we have to live next to people. Yes, their roofers may be doing their work while we're trying to make a video. There's not so much we can do about that. But a lot of our lives we can control, and we don't need much money to do it. Yes. This is so recent. Up until maybe, 5-10 years ago, a lot of the things that are going to be on this list were reserved for the wealthy. It's not like that anymore. Anybody can have a really high quality of life. Also, if you're making $400,000 a year and you're not doing these things, your life is worse than the person making $40,000 a year who is doing these things. Money's different now. It doesn't determine the outcome of our lives. It's fantastic. Anyway, what's first on this list? This list is in no particular order, but the first one I stand by. Number 1, floss. We can all floss every day at the end of the day before we go to bed. Super easy. How much does floss cost? Like $5. Okay, we're doing the math here, and we're going to see that it costs less to buy a lifetime supply of floss than it does for one root canal. Yes. That doesn't even include the time the dentist spends in your mouth drilling. Just that sound. I know you can't feel anything, but he's there and he's in your mouth and I went to the dentist yesterday. I didn't need a root canal. It was something very, very small. Very, very small. And I was like, could you put me out? And he was like, no, I'm not going to put you out for this. It's going to take me 20 minutes. I can't imagine a more effective form of torture than the drill in the mouth. Just that sound, just knowing it's touching you somehow, even though you can't feel it. I know it's there. There's pressure. Anyway, so we're going to factor that into the cost of a root canal. I will pay $100 a minute not to have that drill in my mouth. So for me, the cost of a lifetime supply of floss is much, much, much less than the cost of a single root canal. I'm not even going to fight you on the floss thing. If you're trying to fight me in the comment section about flossing, I don't know what to tell you because you're wrong. Number 1, floss. So start flossing today and do it every day until you die. Number 2, in no particular order, exercise. Exercise. Check out that video I did called The Cult of Fitness. Now, as we discussed in Rate My Cult many times, the practices, the shared practices. I love the exercise shared practices because you do suffer together. And that makes the team bond stronger. So in that way, it is similar to the cults we've discussed in Rate My Cult. It's a shared trauma, a shared suffering that they go into together. Now, for fitness and for exercise, this is actually very helpful because you are supposed to suffer. It makes you stronger. But as we discussed with Mother God, trauma good for fitness, trauma bad in cult. So similar things used different ways. Because fitness is not all about your body. It's mostly about your mind, and then your body reacts to what your mind has done, what your actions have done. So it's more your will. Is your will your mind? Is it your heart? Whichever. Your will. Your will. Your body reacts to what your will has done. So having a hot body, that's secondary. It's superficial, really, because the process of exercising will benefit you so much. Now, obviously, you're less likely to drop dead. If you exercise for, I believe they said 5 hours a week was this study, you're less likely to drop dead. Now, that's above average exercise. They really recommend like 3, with half of that being strength training. That's very low. If you go look at that video, how to program yourself in 5 easy steps, I personally recommend an hour a day of exercise. To some of you, that's going to sound like a lot. It really isn't, especially now that we have YouTube. This is what I mean. Like 10 years ago, we didn't have access to these things. Yes, you had a Jane Fonda tape you could pop in, but you would need an entire library of tapes to have what we have access to on YouTube for free, for absolutely free. You can make a playlist of various Dance Fit songs. Dance Fit. I'm going to do a whole video on Dance Fit because it is fantastic and it is new and we should all be taking advantage of it. I love Dance Fit, but it doesn't have to be Dance Fit. You can run in place. You can have a personal trainer. I have a virtual personal trainer. I actually have a few virtual personal trainers, but the one that has my heart and my soul is Sydney Cummings Howdy Shell, I believe. Is that how you say it? She's fantastic and she's free and she gives you free workouts every single day. What excuse is there? There's Pilates instructors. For guys, there's other things. Guys, you can watch Sydney too. There's nothing stopping you from watching Sydney because she does a lot of weights. I showed you the kind of weights that we bought, but there are also no equipment workouts. So I think, 45 minutes a day is the minimum that you really should be doing. If you can do a half hour, do the half hour, whatever you can get in a day, but be realistic about what you can really get in because a fight on Twitter is not worth your health. So if that fight on Twitter is taking up the same amount of time as a workout, choose the workout. Every single day, choose the workout. 9 out of 10 days, choose the workout. There's always that one day you just gotta chill. But forget I said that. Choose the workout. Choose the workout. Always choose the workout over drama because you can dissipate some of your drama energy into the workout. So that exercise every single day. And on the days where you're taking a day off. Let's say you take a day off. Well, there's stretching. If you follow David Goggins, he stretches hours every day. He's also crazy. So maybe you don't have to stretch hours every day, but that brings me to my next one. And I actually separate it from exercise, is the 5-minute morning stretch. Why do we do a 5-minute morning stretch? So we don't injure ourselves. Think of many ways that you could injure yourself just doing stupid little things. You can't wear shoes into people's houses anymore. This is common. People have you leave your shoes at the door. Now, this is great. But then when you want to make an exit, if there's a lot of shoes at the door, you might have to do some serious contortion to get into your shoes. Blackjack, I'm serious. Cats don't listen. Cats aren't like dogs. You can be like, I'm serious. Get out of here. I'm serious. They don't care. They don't care. He doesn't care what I have to say. Blackjack, come on. Come on, buddy. Come on. Let's come here. Come here. Blackjack, I'm super serious right now. I'm very serious with you. Can you hear him purring? He's actually a very happy cat. I'm very serious with you. You have to get out of here. I know. If you have to put your shoes on at the end of a party, but you have to do it with any amount of grace, you might need to have some balance and flexibility. A lot of people are online too much right now, so their shoulders, they go like this. Can you see? They go like this. And so that kind of puts a curve in our necks just over time, just spending so much time hunched over our phones. And we think, oh, well, I've got good posture, everything's fine. But then you try to do a chest pump and you realize, oh my God, that hurts so much. That hurts so much. So just try like that. That's the opposite motion of doing this all day. So what is that? We decided that was a Sphinx pose. Get in Sphinx pose for 5 minutes. That'll pop out all of the crunching over to be on our phones. And now we know we're going to be on our phones. Like there's just no getting around it. This is life now. We're going to be on our computers. We're working at a desk. This posture is what we're doing. But we can fix that with 5 minutes of stretching in the opposite direction. Active stretching in the opposite direction. And then, of course, you got to stretch your hips. You got to stretch your back, especially. You don't want to get injured. And anything where you have to reach in a weird way. So see what I mean? This is very nitty gritty. What actions can you take on a daily basis to make your life better? Stretching. Super easy. We got nice teeth. We got a fit body and a healthy mind because of our exercise. We are less prone to injury because we stretch. What is the fourth thing? Clean your room. Clean your room. Jordan Peterson says this all the time, and I think this is one bit of advice that is very good from Jordan Peterson. Clean your room. You don't have to make it spotless. Honestly, just do 20 minutes. Often, if you do 20 minutes, you're going to want to keep cleaning because you're in the middle of a task. You're not going to leave the floor half mopped, so you're going to finish the task. If you start with 20 minutes a day, I'm just going to clean my room for 20 minutes a day, or I'm going to clean the kitchen for 20 minutes a day, especially if a lot of you live in the house. Let's say you have a household of 4 people, even 2 people. That 20 minutes adds up. And really, it goes on for a little bit longer because, you get in the swing of things. An object in motion is likely to stay in motion. See, you can't help it. You're in the swing of things. Now, flip side of this is do not sit down. Don't be like, I'm 15 minutes in, I can sit down. No. Don't sit down. Don't sit down for the 20 minutes because an object at rest will stay at rest. So just don't sit. Just keep cleaning for 20 minutes. Throw a podcast on, throw some music on, and just tidy up because you deserve to live in a clean environment, and a clean atmosphere will help clean your inner atmosphere. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Obviously, don't take this too far. There are OCD people out there, and know that there is an upper limit to the cleaning too. The minimum is 20. The upper limit might be 2 hours, whatever you have to do to keep your own personal sanity. This is all about keeping our own personal sanity. So if the upper limit is 2 hours, okay, stick to it. You probably got your house pretty clean in 2 hours, especially if you're doing that every single day. My thing is, I'm going to give it 20 minutes, and then if I keep wanting to clean after that, I'm going to keep cleaning. Usually, it goes on for 40 or however long it takes to get the task done. So, 4, clean room. Very important. Very easy to do. Free, in fact. Now, if you get to the point where you don't have the time to clean your room, you're working too hard, et cetera, if you have a spouse, you have a family member that cleans, or if you can afford it, if you can hire a maid service to clean, it's very important that this get done no matter who's doing it. You know what I mean? It's the cleanliness is where we start, and then we work backwards. So oftentimes it's just us. We're not making huge messes. If you've got big dogs, if you've got a lot of small children, you might need to get some assistance from other adults in the house. And if you are an adult in the house and you're not doing any cleaning, support the person doing all the cleaning. That's just common courtesy. I never understood these couples where one does all the cleaning and they pay equal amount of rent. Why are you giving this person your services for free? You do it for yourself, but for them? All right, I don't understand it. I don't have to understand everything. I've accepted that. So, clean room, definitely. 5. Okay, read something difficult every day. Your head should hurt a little. Like you should feel like you're doing bicep curls with your brain. You feel that strain, I want to stop, that. And you don't have to do it for the whole day. 20 minutes is enough. 15 minutes can be enough even. Now, this is about exercising your brain, so you can probably get the same result from doing a difficult math problem. But you're going to know when you're using your brain. You don't use it on the phone. You just don't. Unless you're reading a good article or a research paper. The thing is, you can read anything on the phone. But you're probably not using it on Twitter. You're definitely not using it on Instagram. Come on, Instagram. No, we're not using it on Instagram. We're not making our head hurt on Instagram. The unfortunate thing is a lot of the knowledge that we want, at least the knowledge that I want, comes in books that maybe aren't so entertaining. This one, we just talked about it. B.F. Skinner, Beyond Dignity and Freedom. That's from the other video. That's the video about free will. Someone asked me, they say, what's that book? Can I get it? And I had to be honest with her. I was like, this book is hard to read. It's difficult. The author clearly is not making any efforts to entertain you at all. Some nonfiction books are actually a breeze and they're a joy to read, but some of them it's like, ugh. Nevertheless, the information contained within this book is invaluable. So what do? We suffer through it. And you can suffer through a very difficult book for 15 minutes a day for 3 months. So what? You got the exercise. Some people, it takes them a week. I don't know. I don't know why some people can just pick up a book and read it through no matter how much it hurts their heads. And some people are like, well, that's enough for me. I'm getting eye strain. Nevertheless, we can all benefit from taking 15 minutes a day to exercise our brain. Really exercise our brain. Actually, a good one is to read an article in the language you're trying to learn. The content really doesn't matter. Tabloids are fine. I feel that you know when your brain is hurting. Remember math class, the hardest math class you ever took? That's exercising your brain. That's how it feels. You're like, oh my God, what is happening? But little by little, you make the gains. It's just like with weight training. Little by little, you do make those gains, even in your brain. And you can't see it, but it's there. It's just, you know it's there. And you know that the math problem that was impossible in September is pretty easy come November. So there we go. Number 5, read something difficult every day that kind of hurts your head a little bit. This is a good one. I have a whole list of books that are difficult that hurt my head, but I got through them and I took my notes and I'm like, yo, I did that. And you can do that too. And I'm sure you have. Okay, number 6, essential to a good quality of life is sunscreen and self-care. This picture has been going around online recently. It's about a woman who was using sunscreen on her face but not on her neck, and she is 92 years old. Check this out. It's a legit study. I don't know what more proof you could need. It's consistency. It's not how much money you spend on it. It's how often you do it. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this skincare routine. You can if you want. The sky's the limit. That's up to you. But there comes a point where it's just diminishing returns. And what really matters is that you do something consistently. There's a book I bought for some reason. I really didn't need to buy it. I could have found out all this stuff online, but it's The Black Book of Hollywood Beauty Secrets. You don't need to buy it. I mean, definitely buy it if you want. There's good stuff in here, and there's good stuff in here if you're not really studying this. Like if you have taken no time to worry about your appearance or hygiene, just get a book and just do what it says. But what they say, which is very important, which is why I grabbed it, is that the celebrities that they advise. The difference between the celebrities that they advise and the regular women that they advise is the celebrities, the actresses that they advise, are consistent with the program. So basically what she's saying is that of the 100 women she gives the routine to, the celebrity, the star, the socialite, the hot chick will come back with flawless skin. She says why? She followed the instructions exactly. She will have religiously done everything in a regimented and determined way. Life and skincare works the same. How you can optimize your beauty to the same extent that the women in Hollywood do is just have a skincare routine and stick to it. Get one that works for you and stick to it every day and wear sunscreen outside. That's not something money can buy. When a woman turns 60, she can't now all of a sudden say, oh, for the past 40 years, I've been wearing sunscreen. Here's $1 million. It doesn't work that way. Whereas somebody who makes $40,000 a year at 20 can decide I'm going to wear sunscreen every day. And when she's 60, she's in a better position than this millionaire. So you can do it. No excuses. No excuses. Next up on the list is to prepare healthy foods that taste good. Recipes going on everywhere. This is the best thing about Instagram. People are like, Instagram is shallow. Instagram is this. Instagram is that. Instagram will show you what you want it to show you. So what does it show me all the time? Recipes. Things that 200 years ago, you need like a private chef, you need to go to culinary school, you needed all these books and all this training. It's just on your feed now. You can cook good food. There's no excuse for you to be eating subpar food at this point or food that's unhealthy because all this information is readily available. It's all readily available to you. A very easy rule of thumb is 5 to 9 fruits and vegetables a day. Some people don't eat vegetables, and they say it works for them to not eat any vegetables, something to do with their system. You got to find what works for you. But once you find out what works for you and makes your body perform at its absolute best, and you'll know if your body's performing at its best because your exercise will either be harder or easier. So whatever nutrition you need to have your body perform at its absolute best, figure that out for you and then do it every day. Hold for plane. And this is also good because learning the culinary arts, learning to cook is cumulative. So you get better over time. So you can always become a better cook. If you start cooking now, you're going to be a better cook this time next year. So start cooking now. In 10 years, you'll be a fantastic cook. You'll be making breads. You'll be doing all these things. Nobody can buy a good, healthy body. You can't buy it. You have to make the efforts daily, weekly to earn it. Money can't buy all this. Number 8 is pretty obvious. Make some money. Whatever your trade is, be the best at it that you can be. Everybody says that this country wants to keep them down. This country is no good. This country is against the little guy. I genuinely believe this country wants the little guy to figure out a way to make some more money so that they can tax them. so that they can sell them things. Like, yes, our God is the dollar, but that's ethically neutral. The dollar is green. Everybody's money is the same. That's the great thing about this country is everybody's money's green. Everybody's money's good here. So make some of it. Hold for plane. I live by an airport. So there's the roofers over here and the airport over there. And you know what? I'm still living a full life. That's okay. So you can live a full, high quality life, not making huge sums of money. But it's hard to do it not making any money at all. So figure out your little niche, get in there and shine. Shine on, you crazy diamond. Make that money. And I do distinguish this from learning because, yes, you can make money by going to school and getting a degree and then getting a job. That's fine. That also goes with number 5, reach something at your highest level. But you can also make money not through going to university. You can make money air conditioning. You can make money welding. You can make money any number of trades. You can make a lot more money in a lot of these trades. And also, maybe you don't love your job. Not all of us love our jobs. I understand that. But you go to your job for the reason of having a better life. So there's no right or wrong way to make money as long as you're not hurting anybody else and you're contributing to the fabric of the community. So make money. I'm not going to explain it any more than that. I've gone into the morality of money in so many videos that we don't have to go into it here. But for your personal life, it is better to have a little bit of extra money, at least to have the money that you need. All the information is readily available. If you need help making money, real quick. If you need help making money because you did not come from a business-minded family, et cetera, this book, The Personal MBA, can help you out a lot. So, what was it, like $13, $14, $18? You can get it secondhand for half that. Find it, read it, apply those skills to your life. Number 9 is to work on your craft, something that is creative. Now, a lot of people are lucky and their craft is how they make their money. Killing 2 birds, 1 stone. But you might not be working on your craft. You might have a job, a regular job, and then you need a secondary craft, which can be any number of things. It can be woodwork, it can be furniture building, it can be painting. I like painting. I'm a realism painter, and I like painting because it teaches you how to see. So working on your craft, having a hobby, it's not just whittling away the hours. Whittling? Okay, so both whittling away the hours and whiling away the hours are both expressions. We don't need both of them, but whatever, we're moving on. So working on your craft, having a hobby, it's not just passing the time. It's not just something productive to do to pass the time. It is that. And for a lot of people, that's enough. But it's not just that. It's also understanding the world through your hands. And it's very important that we understand the world through our hands because what is in our mind doesn't necessarily apply to the real world. We learned this from the exercise. Number 2, sport. Oh, I imagine myself being this great athlete, maybe Olympic champion. That's not what the world says. That's not what objective reality says. And your craft will also teach you that, that this world, managing this world, handling this world, the material world is very different from what it is in our mind. Now, that's not to say that after 10 years of training and hard work and working on your craft and working on your skill, you can't become absolutely amazing. And that is the mind and that is the will. However, we learn humility through our craft. You know what I mean? First and foremost, we learn humility and then we learn accomplishment and so forth and so on. And it's a process and it's a very beautiful process. And I hope that everybody can do that. I hope that everybody has access to this kind of process. Now, if for whatever reason you come from a family that doesn't really value hobbies, et cetera, know that you can go onto YouTube and find a video on how to do just about anything you want. I know for a fact that the artistic tutorials on YouTube is second to none. How do you see the world? When you make an art, you interpret the world through your mind and then through your hands. It's a very meaningful spiritual process. And I'm worried that a lot of people don't do this anymore because they say, oh, I can't be the best artist out there. Oh, this AI is going to make a better painting than me. Yeah, whatever. So what? Doesn't mean you don't do it. You still do it. Even if it's a sand painting and then you wash it away at the end, you still do it. You know what I mean? Also, if you have a hobby that brings you around other people that you do in a group, then you also have that social aspect, which is going to bring me to another point. But that social aspect is very important. You can have that through your hobby. You can have that through your sport. If you are lucky, let's say you do dance, your hobby and your sport are the same. So you've saved yourself some time. See? Music. Musicians, they're basically doing magic to me. I don't know what is going on. I can interpret music through my body. The making of the music, this is magic. I don't know how anybody can do this. But if that's what you do, keep on. Very impressed. So yes, work on your craft. Be creative. That is how we are better than machines. That is how we are better than machines. Okay, moving on. Number 10, be nice to your family and your friends every day. Goes without saying, just be nice to them. What does nice mean? Don't say anything mean. First and foremost, don't say anything mean to them. Be honest. I think with your closest family and friends, you have to be honest. Especially with your spouse, you have to be honest. Maybe not with the whole community, but with the people closest to you, honesty is key. But also kindness and compassion. So that's your family. Show them kindness and compassion and patience. We need some patience. Let's just leave it at that. A lot of our families require extra patience, and we give that to them because they're our family. Unless they're psychopaths or child molesters or otherwise dangerous. It's more complicated. But don't be dramatic. Your family member is not a serial killer. They just voted the wrong way. Number 11, I distinguish this from family because it's community. Community is outside the family. I wouldn't recommend too much honesty here. I mean, you do need to stand up for yourself. You do need to assert boundaries, but 110% honesty is not required with the community. See them in real life. This also counts if you have a barista. If there's a coffee shop nearby or a bakery or whatever, go there and talk to a person, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Stand in line, look at other people. You know, you have to dress reasonably well to go stand in a line anyway. You have to do your hair. So there's that whole process of just going out, talking to the person, asking for your coffee. I know, but it's 2022 and this apparently has to be said because there's phones now. Act right in public. Don't get confused for a public nuisance and wind up on Reddit. Even if they get your order wrong, let it go. And here's where the honesty comes in. If the barista gets your coffee wrong, you can say that. You don't have to be like, oh, okay, I'll drink it. Now, you may drink it anyway. You might be like, you know what? You got it wrong, but it's a good coffee. Say that to her. Say, or him. Say that to them. Say, yo, you got my order wrong, but it's still a good coffee, so that's okay. And this kind of gives you practice of standing up for yourself in other situations. You don't have to be rude about it. You don't have to be like, excuse me, miss, I can't believe you did that. Nobody needs to hear all that. Okay? Just say, oh, I ordered a latte. You gave me a cappuccino. And then you can make a joke of what is the difference between a latte and a cappuccino anyway? Like, what are we doing? Sits in the car for 5 minutes. It's all a latte. It's not a latte. The kid's got to have foam on the top. But once it sits for a little while, it's a latte anyway, right? So, but say that to the barista. Make a joke, be social, a little bit social. You don't have to be overly social, but at least a couple times a week, see someone in real life, interact with them, have it be a pleasant discussion, end with, oh, you have a good one, and then you go back to your home to do whatever it is that you do. I think this is important. This is community. Number 12, this next one, it's a good one. Reflect on your day. This can be meditation. This can be journaling. What else? Meditation, there's journaling. There's very practical ways where you sit down and say, what happened today? Benjamin Franklin pioneered this. So he sat down and he's like, well, what happened today? What did I want to happen? What actually happened? Because sometimes the plan doesn't work. So you're like, okay, so how did that go awry? But taking that 5 minutes to sit down and think about where you are right now in this day, how the day went, how you could make it better, what you would do if you were in that situation again, just to reflect, just to take the time out with the phone down. Because that's part of the problem. A lot of times these online mobs, they get into your head. And so you think that the thoughts that the mob is thinking are thoughts that you're thinking, and that's just not true. But if you take 5 minutes with the phone down, where are you? What thoughts came into your head? Where did those thoughts come from? Are those good thoughts? How did you react to those thoughts? Why did you react to those thoughts in that way? You kind of just get in touch with yourself. You check in. And this is a good time to check your blind spots. be your biggest critic just for 1 out of the 5 minutes, not the whole time. I think 2 out of the 5 minutes, you should be your biggest cheerleader. But for 1 out of the 5 minutes, you should be your biggest critic and just be like, why did you do that? Were you influenced to do that? Why did you think that? Well, maybe you thought it because of this chronic failing. And yes, we have chronic failings. It's okay. We have weak points. Did that weak point act up today in your day? Was it an insecurity that acted up? Is that why you reacted to this person the way you reacted? Or was there something about this person that honestly put you off? Take 5 minutes to reflect. Now, you might not get to the bottom of it, but taking those 5 minutes to reflect puts you in the now, and it builds you. It builds you up a little bit because you, how do I say this? You at least fortify the gains you made on that day, or you prevent any additional damage. If some nasty thing got in your head that day, rather than it festering overnight or for weeks or days on end, you stop and say, why did this nasty idea get into my head? Oh, because of this. Oh, okay. And then you put it where it belongs for good and bad. So take 5 minutes. Just think about it, because you can't go back in time. You're never going to be able to go back in time. If you can go back in time, you get a Nobel Prize for having discovered the time machine. You can't go back, but you can go forward. So we go forward. We put ourselves in the best position to go forward. And that's what that 5 minutes is. Now, this final thing is my personal philosophy on all of life. I don't care if your dad was a crackhead who abandoned you at birth. You still have access to these things because it's 2022 and everybody has access to these things. We all get it. Rich, poor, rural, city, it doesn't matter. We all get these things. Fresh bread, bubble water, bidet. Like, I don't have a bakery nearby. I can't have fresh bread. Get a bread machine. It's cheaper than buying bread at the store. And plus, the bread you buy at the store, bread isn't supposed to look like that for 6 months. I'm sure it's not killing you. I'm not one of these people that says you only can eat natural foods and this and this and that. But fresh bread has been a staple in the human race since the beginning. Give us this day our daily bread. Other places, other countries, even less developed countries, they go and they get their bread fresh daily. Now, if you're in a city or you're by someone that provides daily bread, that's fantastic. You should totally take them up on that. And that's also your opportunity to talk to somebody in real life. Don't use the self-checkout. Go talk to the person. I would like this bread, please. Thank you for the money. You may have the bread now. Okay. Or you can make it fresh. Do you know what I mean? Like, we all deserve that. We kind of lose that in modernity. We say, well, can't have the lifestyle that people used to have. Everything's so go, go, go. Well, everything's what you want it to be. This is what we're learning now. There are no rules. No one is saying you have to live your life this way. You decide how you want to live your life. And I am saying I go buy fresh bread every day. 5 days a week. Sometimes it's rice. But fresh rice every day? Get a rice cooker.
Look, I oppose government surveillance, but people who buy pre-made rice need to be on a list. If this is your family or friend, get them some help. I'll invite my crackhead cousin to an intervention for my buys pre-made rice cousin any day of the week, because what kind of life is that?
Why would you have less than everybody has had throughout history? I don't understand it. If that's how you live your life and you have an explanation, please leave it in the comment section below, because I don't understand it. You should have more than everybody else has had. And that brings me to bubble water. No, you don't have to leave cans everywhere, the La Croix, because that's a lot of pollution. But now we have SodaStream. If you like bubble water, like I like bubble water, you can have bubble water for every sip of water that you have. You should be drinking water because water is good for you.
Water?
Yeah.
You mean like in the toilet? What for?
It doesn't have to be soda. It doesn't have to be full of sugar and chemicals or whatever else they put in soda. You don't have to deal with that. You can just have the bubble water. You can have the best of both worlds. I believe bubble water is more refreshing than any other kind of water. Some people like flat water.
Just to drink.
I could be by a stream dying of thirst. Like, oh, there's no bubble water. There's nothing to drink. I don't care. It's 2022, okay? And these are the gains that civilization has made in the past 5 years. And you know what? We don't cede ground on civilization. We move forward. We don't go back. We move forward, and forward means bubble water. Now, you might be like, that is ridiculous. Bubble water is disgusting. I don't understand it. Respect. But you can also have cucumbers and mint in your water. I just have to point out that right now, water is a big issue because of Mississippi, Flint. If you fly out of California, it looks like Mars. It's dry as can be.
And that's because of drought. It's kind of a different problem from Jackson or Flint.
I don't even want to talk about it. We shouldn't have to talk about it. It's not to do with that. It's to do with bubble water. And you deserve bubble water. Did you see that movie, An American Pickle, where that guy is frozen in pickle juice for 100 years? And he comes out and he's like, the only thing I ever wanted was seltzer water. And he never got it because 100 years ago, where are you getting seltzer water from? Just some random worker? Like, this was a luxury. Now, we can all have seltzer water. And we can have it for a lot cheaper than buying bottled water. Seize this day. And this day includes bubble water. And the last bit on this is the bidet. Why do we all have bidets now? Because COVID. This advancement happened in the past 2 years.
Oh, and immediately before that, the wipes had become popular. Plus, with all this advancement in like landscaping down there, the country's grooming habits have taken a quantum leap over the past 10 years. It's going to be the subject of many dissertations and YouTube videos. It's going to be a whole series called The Progress of the American Butthole, and it's going to be a New York Times bestseller. You just watch.
Used to be, you had to be the king of France to have a bidet. Now everybody can have a bidet. It's like $20 off Amazon. Bum gun. Just a little attachment. Who has a stinky butt in 2022? Whose butt is stinky now? Like, what are you doing? Are you trying to be a caveman? A lot of people are going to hate on Amazon. I think Amazon make things more convenient, but there are obvious downsides. But regardless, Amazon will get a bidet to your door in 2 days for $20 and some change. So get a bidet. All of these things that used to be, even 30 years ago, for the very, very wealthy, the cost has come down to the point where we can all enjoy these things. It's just a matter of if we have the knowledge, if we know about them, if we know that there is a bidet attachment that costs $25 that we can put on our toilet. And now, look at us, fresh. And it really comes down to that money is no longer the deciding factor on quality of life. Effort is the deciding factor on quality of life. And effort, what is that? It's time, it's work, it's knowledge. I'm giving you the knowledge right now. Now, if you want to take the time, we all get 24 hours in a day. Sometimes that 24 hours gets eaten up by various things. And that's where the money really, really does come in, is how much time do you have? If you have to work 10 hours a day just to put food on the table, you don't have that much time. You have time for these things, though. I actually did the math. If you can see, can y'all read my writing? I did the math, and you do have time for this, even if you're working 10-hour days. But if you have more time, then you have time to do it more, which helps. Some things it doesn't help, like the beauty stuff. There is a point of diminishing returns where it's like, all right, you're cute enough. I went over cute enough in the Kardashian video. You're cute enough. Anything beyond that is sort of wasting your time, and you want to spend that time being more interesting. So once you get to the point where you're cute enough, like, what are we doing here? Anyway, go to the Kardashian video for cute enough, for that concept. But you're probably cute enough. We went over this in The Miserable Misanthrope, that most humans are cute enough. The base model, the factory model human is cute enough. It's just a matter of what efforts you put into maximizing yourself. Because really all of this is just, how do I put effort into making the best out of myself? Now, you notice I didn't include anything about dating on this. I didn't say anything about how much effort you should put into your appearance. I didn't say anything about how you should make your money. That's all on you. And honestly, for the dating, if you're doing all of these things, someone's going to come scoop you up. Man or woman. It doesn't matter these days anymore. Women can hit on men and men can hit on women. Someone's going to come get you. So don't even worry about it. That's what I would say about the dating, is don't even worry about it. All of these things, somebody's going to come get you. And if you can do all these things, someone's going to hire you too. We know from the job market that there's simply just not enough people searching for jobs. So someone's going to hire you. Someone's going to marry you. You don't even have to worry about anything else. Just know that you deserve to live the highest quality of life that has nothing to do with how much money you have, and has everything to do with how much you value yourself and how much time and effort you're willing to put into yourself. Now, one last thing, one last warning before I sum this all up. A lot of people who do all these things, they go and they say to other people, well, you're less than me because you're not doing these things, because you're not doing X, Y, and Z. Don't ever say that to somebody else. You don't need to. You really don't need to. Just show what you're doing and they will see, if I do these things, can that happen for me too? And the answer is yes. Line dances at weddings. Think about this. When's the last time you went to a wedding? Here's a very important thing. The wedding I went to before mine, because there's a lot of weddings this week, you'll notice only one person knows the dance at first. Sometimes two people know it, but oftentimes only one person knows the dance at first. And the way humans are, by looking at somebody else doing the correct thing, they just mimic and they just copy. If you have a friend that's, let's say, not flossing, not putting on sunscreen, and you take 2 minutes before you go outside to floss your teeth, rinse a little bit, and throw on some sunscreen, they're going to notice what you're doing. And then they might do it too. Whereas if you say, oh, look at your skin, it's all messed up. Oh, your teeth are all messed up. They might resist. They might say, well, I don't care. And they get defensive and da-da-da. So don't do that. Don't attack anybody for not doing these things just because you do them. Just show them that you do them. And if they ask, well, how did you get so fit? Very clearly, oh, I did all these things. This is my exercise routine. People who are doing these things are trying to tell other people how to do these things. Like, they're not keeping the information to themselves. People who are doing these things are screaming it from the rooftop. This is what I do. You want to do it? This is it. Very few people, if you ask them, how did you get X, Y, and Z, aren't going to tell you freely how to get X, Y, and Z. That's all. So if you're doing these things and you're from a tribe, a family, a community that doesn't really do these things, just keep doing them. And you'd be surprised they might catch on. Subscribe.